Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us here on our final edition of the Summer Series Beach Boss. I'm your host, Michelle Yu, and joining me from a lot closer to the surf than I am right now is the Beach Boss himself, Mr. Ray Paulick. Ray, thank you so much. Did you miss me last week? How did it go?
I really did miss you. I mean, I made a really terrible pick, and I needed an insult from you, and you weren't there for it. So, what happened to summer? It's over.
Like that. And I'll tell you what, I'm home this weekend because my kids started school. So I'm in Monrovia. This morning it was like 62, covered in fog, couldn't even see like 4 cars in front of the freeway. I'm like, it's fall. It's fall already.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. And it's not been the greatest weather summer in Del Mar. It's been a lot of overcast days.
That is my favorite weather, Ray. That was the best. That was honestly, like, I always hate on Del Mar because it's too hot and you sweat and it's gross. And this summer it's been lovely.
I love to sweat.
Okay. Not me. I'm a sweater weather girl all the way. I do want to bring in, though, one more ray of sunshine. Mr. Tom Quigley of Quigley's Corner. That's Quigley's _corner. If you follow him on Twitter, if you're a big player, that you know that he is our VIP liaison over at Santa Anita Park. He also stands by the paddock, gives out his tweets, gives out his picks, and he's just an all-around great guy and a very good friend of mine. So TQ, I'm glad to see that we dragged you in. I never thought I'd see the day that you would be on a computer screen.
Not only that, but I've got my shades on, as you can see by the reflection, like Ray was talking about. A really bad weather day at the moment by Del Mar standards, but I think the sun will be out later. And you know what, Ray? Michelle doesn't like the beach. How many people do you know don't like the beach? The things you learn on Twitter, particularly this summer, because Michelle tweeted that out.
Well, I see you on the beach a lot of mornings when I go out for a walk. I mean, you're out there looking for shells or something, right?
Well, TMZ caught the video of you and I getting ready for this seminar. I'm surprised you posted it on Twitter, but it was an awesome video. Hats off to you if anybody thinks that was actually you and I.
Wait, I missed it. What was it?
Synchronized lunging. It was weird. That's all I can say.
That sounds like a Todd Schrupp thing. Was Todd Schrupp involved wearing like itty bitty shorts?
It might have been Todd. It was taken from a distance, so you couldn't really make out who it was, but it could have been Todd, I suppose.
I like, by the way, we all know Mr. Tom Quigley always wears his Hawaiian shirts. Ray's got a nice Hawaiian shirt. I've even got a little bit of floral on me. So we're all very like Del Mar'd out for the finale. TQ, have you been taking notes the whole meet about what goes on Beach Boss so you know what to do here?
Well, I can tell you what, I hear there's over 3,000 contestants, and our great host, Mr. Paulick, is like in 160th. Think about that. That's not
way better than I thought he'd be.
See, that's why I bring it up, because before you came on, he told me that you were insulting him every single week. So we got to give him some props today, because obviously it's the final episode of Beach Boss. But we're just having a lot of fun, and it's good to see. And like you mentioned, Santa Anita, 28 days away from opening day, 4 weeks from today, you and I will be sitting together on the set there at the Great Race Place.
Looking forward to that, although we've had a lot of fun here this summer at Del Mar. Just in case you're new, you're a little late to the game if you are. This is Beach Boss, and what we do is we pit Ray every day against anybody, 3,000 anybody's who want to line up, and you get a $100 mythical wager on the race of our choice, and you can either do win, place, show, or any combination thereof with your $100. At the end, whoever has the most money gets 2 tickets to the Breeders' Cup, which is held right here at Del Mar for 2021. But I think that if you haven't been joining, it's probably a little late to beat Ray, as crappy as the majority of his picks may be. So I would say maybe just watch and hang out. Now, for the once a week Beach Boss show, what we do is we bring in a handicapping expert and we pit their prowess against Ray Paulick's pathetic handicapping, and we see where it goes from there. You're welcome. So this week, our feature race that we're going to be talking about is actually the Del Mar Derby, presented by Caesar Sportsbook. It is a 1 1/8 on the turf course for 3-year-old colts. Overall, looking at this race, I always feel like the Del Mar Derby is a contentious event. And looking at this race, drawing a really big field, I think that this is a salty race. I can only imagine where Ray's going to go in here. Ray, I'm going to let you kick it off so you show TQ how it's done and what direction not to go in.
Well, I had to approach this race a little bit like how the NHC champion approached the last bet of the tournament last weekend. How much do I need to win to in this particular bet to move up into closer contention to be number 1 at the end of the meet? I've got today's Friday, Still got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I need price horses all the way through. I'm at 1,427. The leader is currently at 4,220. So I need long shots here. So I'm not going with chalk, and I wouldn't go with chalk in this race anyways, because I mean the favorite is 9-2, I think, in the morning line. When is the last time you saw that at Del Mar?
It's a good race.
Yeah. So, I need a price horse, and there's going to be a lot of good prices in here. But I ended up on Richard Mandela trained Petruccio.
Okay.
Why? It's an Into Mischief horse that was gelded after his first couple starts. He got a little bit better after that. He's only had one race this summer. It was a fourth in the Oceanside opening day. They opted not to go in the La Jolla. Mike Smith rode him that day. He's back up this time. I need him to be a little more aggressive than he was in the Oceanside. He let him fall back all the way to the rear of the field. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work in the Del Mar Derby. You've got to be closer than that, because 14 horses, that's a lot of horses to go around or to get through if you're going to be at the back. So I'm hoping that Mike is able to spot this horse somewhere mid-pack. It's not going to be a really fast pace, but it's going to be a contentious pace, I think. And they're gonna gang up around the turn, and I'm looking for Petruccio to make the last run.
All right. I actually don't mind the horse. I think that he's so much better on grass than he is on dirt. Yeah. So if you just draw lines through his non-turf efforts, with the exception of the off-the-board finish last time, I mean, he's a very logical contender with a ton of upside at 20-1. So Ray, I don't hate your pick this week.
Knocked me over with a feather. $100 to win on him, because that, the last few days I've got to build a bankroll.
That is bold.
So
I like the fact that he just looked and he was like, "Who's the longest shot that I can take?" And that's where at least you make a good case for him. All right.
I think there's going to be. I don't think he'll be the longest shot on the board, but
no.
I mean, you're going to get a price no matter who wins this race.
All right, TQ. Where all you have to do is beat Ray. You don't have to beat the 3,000 other mopes around there, right? That's a TQ term, by the way, not my term. I just stole it. I don't even think I'm insulting them. I'm not. You don't have to beat anybody else. All you have to do is beat Ray. So you could go with Petruccio and maybe split it up a little. You can pick more than one horse. What are you going to do?
Easy game beating Ray, right, Michelle? You know what?
I think so.
Before I give you my picks, I'm going to give you a piece of interesting trivia that you can win a bar bet with. Did you know when this race was inaugurated in 1945, the name of the race was called, believe it or not, and I am sober right now, the Quigley Invitational?
No.
Not the Del Mar Derby, the Quigley Invitational. And here's the reason why. If you walk around Del Mar, and obviously we're very fortunate enough to do that on a daily basis, you'll see pictures of Bing Crosby and Jimmy Durante. And then if you look closely, there's some pictures with Robert Quigley. And Robert Quigley was one of Bing's friends. No relation, unfortunately. Not that I know. I'm going to check Ancestor.com one more time and see if he pops up in my lineage. But nevertheless, it was known as the Quigley Invitational. So this should be a slam dunk for me, right?
The Quigley Memorial Handicap.
See?
16th on the dirt in 1945, and it was renamed in 1948, modified to the distance in 1950, and moved to turf in 1970. I had no idea. I love that.
The things you learn on Beach Boss. So when you go to happy hour tonight, Michelle, you could bet one of your barmates on that little tidbit and get a free drink out of it.
The pressure that's on your shoulders right now, TQ. I feel like I need to go like this to help hold you up.
Ray thank you. Ray, I don't think that's possible given my weight, but thanks for the gesture. I'm trying to, you're right. I'm trying to beat Ray. So what I'm going to do is, I guess, what they call Dutching, and no disrespect to the Dutch people, right? But I'm actually going to make win bets on 3 different horses. And I actually do like Petruccio. He's one of the 3 horses I'm including for a number of reasons that Ray mentioned. One of them is, we've got plenty of time to go back and watch replays. Go back and watch the race 2 back when Petruccio ran in the Singletary. Flavian Pratt and Umberto Rispoli were on opposition horses, and they really ganged up on Mike Smith there. And I thought it was an outstanding effort. And like Ray said last time out in the Oceanside, Mike was just too far back. You can draw a line through that race. He's going to have to be closer to the pace. So he's a live long shot at 20-1. I agree. I'm going to basically, scale my bets accordingly in terms of who I like. But Petruccio is going to get some of my win money. But I'll tell you what, keep it simple. And here's the reason why. If you go back and look at the post positions for 1 1/8 miles on the turf course over the Del Mar surface, over the last 3 years, there's only been 13 races run at this distance here at Del Mar, but there's been no winners outside of post position number 8. Now, I know it's a relatively small sample, but it makes sense, right? because they start in that dog leg, then they come in the stretch, and those farther out drawn horses are at a big disadvantage, right? Because they really have to cover a lot more ground. And in a real competitive field, that's going to be basically, you know, working against them. So what I'm going to do is basically just stop reading the racing form with post position 9 and out. I'm just not even giving those horses a chance whatsoever. So I'm going to focus on the inside. Chuck them out just off of that little stat and focus on.
He's like, what, 9 and above? Nope.
Save a couple pages printing the PP. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to lay most of my bankroll on the morning line favorite that Ray mentioned, who's number 1, Hudson Ridge. Draws inside, gets Flavian, the leading turf rider at the meet. We know this horse likes the distance, 2 for 2 already at the distance. A lot of these runners, we don't know if they're either going to get the trip. We don't think necessarily that their jockey is good as Flavian, and they're unproven at the distance. So why try and beat your head against the wall and try and beat what's basically going to be a lucrative favorite? I think he might get down to as low as 4 to 1, but still that's a great betting price. He's going to be down inside, like I said, getting a great trip. So that's where 60 of my $100 is going to be. But the other horse that I think actually has an upset chance, and why wouldn't I pick him because he won the Eddie Logan Stakes, is number 8. Cathkin Peak. Cathkin Peak, you'll remember, ran an 85 Beyer speed figure when he was still a 2-year-old. Now, we haven't seen much of him since then, but obviously Phil D'Amato likes his chances. He brings him back in this race. He knows it's going to be a very tough race. All he has to do is move a little bit forward. Jose Valdivia, his jockey, a very hungry rider. I think he's a live price as well. So Petruccio, Cathkin Peak, and Hudson Ridge are my 3 selections, scaling the wagers based upon who I think is most likely to win.
Well, okay, so originally I kind of liked Sword Zorro in here, and now you just talked me off of it because it's outside post number 8. I might have to go with just the other Son of Zoffany and Zoffarelli, 2 horses coming out of the La Jolla, which you guys apparently don't even think is a very good race because only a small mention with Hudson Ridge.
You know, it's that type of race, partner. You know what I mean? I mean, we could talk here for the next 3 hours and literally maybe not stumble onto the winner. They could run this race a lot of different times and come up with different winners. It's going to come down to trip. It's going to come down to pace. It's almost like a Breeders' Cup type of race. And so that's why I think it's a great way to end the Saturday card.
Yeah, I agree with you, by the way, on the post positions. Watching horses come out of that infield chute, you either are going to lose a ton of ground or you're going to have to shuffle back to last, you know, in a single file. And that just leaves too much to do. And the turf course is playing kinder to speed right now than it was the first 3/4 of the meeting. So I don't think you want to be all the way in the back.
Now you guys are going to make me re-handicap this whole thing. That's what's going to happen right now. All these little like tidbits that like are going to niggle and naggle at me. And I'm thinking like, oh man, do I play into that or do I just go with, you know, the horse I like? I mean, with the speed, there's going to be, I feel like, enough, right? Jimmy Blue Jeans is going to have to go from where he's drawn. Hockey Dad will go. I think that we might even see Barraza because of where he's drawn going towards the front. Like, it's going to be a good pace up front, right? No one's going to be able to walk the dog here.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be a particularly fast pace, but contentious. They're not going to go 22 and change, I don't think.
And we can chirp more BS in your ear tomorrow since you're going to be down here, Michelle.
I am. I'm going to
really confuse you even more. Hey, look.
Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
Had her first day at kindergarten yesterday.
Congratulations.
Okay, finish your job. Oh, that's long earrings for you. All right. So we have a spread of picks from Tom Quigley, and we've got all in on a 20-1 shot from Ray, who I don't dislike. So Ray, I'm going to have to turn the tables and just not be all that mean to you today. I feel like I got a lot of jabs in early, but now I'm going to finish it out. Look, Dave, someone says hi. Hi, Olivia. She's shy now. When you talk to her, she turns shy. So overall, I want to thank not only Ray for joining us here every single week as the Beach Boss, but everyone that's played along in the contests, and as well as all of the guest handicappers that we have had come on. It's not easy to get people to come on week after week and bring some energy and some enthusiasm. So we really appreciate everybody for joining along. And don't forget, we will be back for the Bing Crosby season, which does commence on November 3rd, encompassing that Breeders' Cup as well, which tickets are still available. So make sure you head over to breederscup.com to get your seats while you still can. We hope to see you here this weekend for closing weekend, which does run through Monday at the Seaside Oval. TQ, best of luck. I'll be seeing you right outside the paddock. And Ray, if I see you, I'll wave from afar.
Thanks for the time, everybody. Had a lot of fun.
Good luck. Thanks, Michelle. You've done a great job. I missed you
Thanks,
last
guys.
week, but I watched you on the show from New York. So
Oh, I appreciate that. And you didn't, and you still are talking to me, so I wasn't too big embarrassing.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you. See, I say mean things to Red. He says nice things to me. That's how it rolls here on Beach Boss. Thanks everybody for playing along. Hopefully everybody gets their chance to beat Ray. And if you didn't, stay tuned for next meet. We'll be back in November and you can play against Ray once again.
See you guys. Good luck.